Hello, all beautiful people over there. How are you? Okay, now let us continue with our supplementary readers lesson number 8. A house is not a home. Okay, so we have to find out whether the author overcomes the loss and what else. The big shock that day he had got, that he had lost his cat forever. He was not knowing whether he had lost it forever, means whether the cat had died or not. So the next day, Monday, I went to school. When the fire broke out, I was still wearing the dress I had worn to church that morning, but I had no shoes. I had kicked them off when I was doing my homework. They became yet another casualty of the fire. So what happened the next day, means Monday, Sunday evening, all the thing, loss, destruction had happened with the author. So next day was Monday. It was a school day, weekday, so he had to go to the school. So he had no with he had was not having his uniform with him. So the dress he was there wearing when he went to the church is in the same dress he went to the school, but he had no shoes. So he remember what happened to his school shoes. He kicked them off when he was doing his homework. Those school shoes also became the casualty of the fire. So I had just stay home. So I had to borrow some tennis shoes from my aunt. So he borrowed tennis shoes from his aunt. Why couldn't I just stay home from school? My mother wouldn't hear of it, but I was totally embarrassed by everything. The clothes I was wearing looked weird. I had no books, or homework, and my backpack was gone. I had my life in that backpack. The more I tried to fit in, the worse it got. Was I destined to be an outcast and a geek all my life? Okay, so here the author is very frustrated because the new school, already he was frustrated and he was fed up of the new school, how to adjust. He was thinking all about that. Then suddenly he lost his house forever, he lost his cat forever, and he was in a miserable situation. He was trying to tackle the situation, but he thought, he gave up the hopes. Okay, and he thought to himself that was he destined to be an outcast. Outcast means rejected. Every time he was getting rejected, new school rejected, house rejected, cat rejected. In all the cases he got rejected. So here he is saying that he destined to be rejected, to be an outcast. And a geek means unfashionable. That person was unfashionable, not wearing proper school uniform, not in proper shoes. He was not having his bag, his notebooks, his homework, nothing he was carrying. He was a geek, he was unfashionable. That's what it felt like. I didn't want to grow up, change, or have to handle life if it was going to be this way. I just wanted to curl up and die. So he was so fed up that he wanted to die. I walked around school like a zombie. He was walking all around the school like a zombie, a pathetic person. Everything felt surreal. Surreal means the meaning we dealt with. Surreal means, a strange or bizarre situation. So everything felt surreal, strange, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. All the security I had known from my old school, my friends, my house, my cat, had all been ripped away. When I walked through what used to be my house after school that day, I was shocked to see how much damage there was. Whatever hadn't burned was destroyed by the water and chemicals they had used to put out the fire. So that day when he went back home to his grandparents' home, he had to pass from his house. He observed the destruction caused by the fire. Everything was burned out, and whatever things were left unburned, they were destroyed by water and chemical which were put by the firemen to put out the fire. The only material things not destroyed were the photo albums, documents, and some other personal items that my mother had managed to heroically rescue. जो भी बचा था वो वही था जो मेरी मम्मी ने एक हीरो की तरह heroically she rescued those things. But my cat was gone and my heart ached for her. But I had lost my cat and my heart ached for her. Ached means my heart pained for her. There was no time to grieve. My mother rushed me out of the house. We would have to find a place to live, and I would have to go buy some clothes to go buy some clothes for school. So they have to start from the bottom. ओके फिर से एक नई तरह से उनको ज़िंदगी शुरू करनी पड़ी. We had to borrow money from my grandparents because there were no credit cards, cash, or even my any identification to be able to withdraw money from the bank. Everything had gone up in smoke. कुछ भी नहीं बचा था. उनकी कोई भी आइडेंटिटी मीन्स उनका पैन कार्ड, इलेक्शन कार्ड, उनका आधार कार्ड, फॉर इंस्टेंस. ओके, they had lost everything in that fire. So they had nothing to show. That week, the rubble that used to be our house was being cleared off the lot. Rubble means a remnant or remaining parts of the house. So that remaining part of the house once used to be the house of the author. People came to clean it off. Even though we had rented an apartment nearby, I would go over to watch them clear every debris, hoping that my cat was somewhere to be found. जब भी ये लोग साफ़ करने जाते थे, ये नरेटर ऑथर वहाँ पे चला जाता था देखने के लिए कि उसकी कैट अगर मिल जाए तो, अगर वो जिंदा हो तो, इफ़ इट वॉज अलाइव, राइट. शी वॉज गॉन. I kept thinking about her as that vulnerable little kitten in the early morning when I was when I would disturb her and get out of my bed. She would tag along after me, climb up my robe and crawl into my pocket to fall asleep. I was missing her terribly. It always seems that bad news spreads quickly, and in my case it was no different. Everyone in high school, including the teachers, was aware of my plight. Plight means condition. I was embarrassed as if somehow I were responsible. What a way to start off a new school. This was not the kind of attention I was looking for. So he said, according to the author, bad news always spreads quickly. In his case, it was not different. So his news of his condition spread quickly into the school, and it was so embarrassing for him, and he thought that he was responsible for his plight. So he thought, what a way to start a new school. He was not looking for this way of attention, this kind of attention, right? The next day at school, people were acting even more strange than usual. The next day, Tuesday, people were acting very in a very unusual way. I was getting ready for gym class at my locker. People were miling around me. Miling means moving around me, asking me to hurry up. They all were making him to make hurry. Okay, so hurry up, dress up quickly and like that. I thought it strange, but in the light of the past few weeks, nothing would surprise me. It almost seemed that they were trying to shove me into the gym. Then I saw why. So he thought he was observing that the people were pushing him. Shove means to push him into the gym. And later on, he came to know why they were acting like that. There was a big table set up with all kinds of stuff on it, just for me. They had taken up a collection. Collection means contribution of money from everyone, okay, and the school children, teachers, they had bought all the stuff for the narrator. The school stuff means school supplies, notebooks, all kinds of different clothes, jeans, tops, sweatsuits, etc. It was like a Christmas for the author. I was overcome by emotion, so he was literally crying because he thought that place very strange, those people very strange, but those people, they knew him, they knew his condition, and they contributed for him, and they bought all the necessary things for him. People who had never spoken to me before were coming up to me to introduce themselves. I got all kinds of invitations to their houses. Their genuine outpouring of concern really touched me. So they invited him to their houses. They spoke with him with attachment and all that kind of thing, and everything touched the author. In that instant, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and thought for the first time that things were going to be okay. Okay, I made friends that day. So in that moment, he realized that things are going to be okay. Everything is going to be fine, and he made new friends that day. A month later, I was at my house watching them rebuild it. So he was a month later, he was watching people rebuilding his house. But this time it was different. I wasn't alone. I was with two of my new friends friends from school. It took a fire for me to stop focusing on my feelings of insecurity and open up to all the wonderful people around me. So he was he was there. He had made a cocoon. How cocoon? An insect is there inside that cocoon, surrounded by in his own thought. Okay, so he was there, surrounded by his own negative thoughts. He didn't look around. What his old teachers had suggested him to open up to the new people, to make friends with new people in the school, so that everything will be positive, right? So he didn't follow their instructions, and he only thought of negative things of the new school. But when he came to know that new school, new friends, new classmates, schoolmates, teachers, they all were friendly to him. ओके सो ही रियलाइज दैट इट टुक अ फायर. एक आग लगने की वजह से मुझे रियलाइज़ हुआ कि जो भी मेरे आजू बाजू में है सब मेरे अच्छे के लिए है. सो ये उसको रियलाइजेशन लाने के लिए भगवान को उसका घर जलाना पड़ा. सो दिस इज वॉट ही मेंट टू से ओवर हियर. इट टुक अ फायर फॉर मी टू स्टॉप फोकसिंग ऑन माई फीलिंग्स ऑफ इनसिक्योरिटी एंड ओपन अप टू ऑल द वंडरफुल पीपल अराउंड मी. Now I was sitting there watching my house being rebuilt when I realized my life was doing the same thing. While we sat there on the curb planning my new bedroom, I heard someone walk up to me from behind and say, वो दोस्तों के साथ बैठ के वो डिसाइड कर रहा था कि उसका बेडरूम कैसे होगा. And suddenly he realized someone was calling him from behind. Does this belong to you? क्या ये आपकी है? When I turned around to see who it was, I couldn't believe my eyes. A woman was standing there holding my cat. So a woman was there who was holding his cat and was asking to the author, does that belong to him? I leapt up and grabbed her out of the woman's arm. I held her close to me and cried into that beautiful orange fur. She purred happily. My friends were hugging me, hugging the cat and jumping around. So everyone was happy. The cat was happy, narrator was happy, his friends were happy, and they were all jumping in happiness. Apparently my cat had been so fricked by the fire that she ran over a mile away. क्या हुआ उस दिन जब आग लग गई थी घर को? उस आग लगने की वजह से वो बिल्ली इतनी डर गई कि वो मीलों दूर भाग गई थी. Her collar had our phone number on it, but our phones had been destroyed and disconnected. Her collar means the cat had a collar. जो neck का belt होता है ना pets का, उसको collar बोलते हैं. So that collar had author's phone number, but the woman was trying to call on that number, but due to the fire, the author and his mother, they had lost their phones and they had destroyed the connections. Okay. This wonderful woman took her in and worked hard to find out whose cat it was. Somehow she knew that this cat was loved and sorely missed. उस वुमेन को पता था कि ये कैट किसकी तो भी है, ये किसी के तो भी है और ये किसी को मिस कर रही है. The cat was missing the author so much, so she made hard effort to return that cat to the author. As I sat there with my friends and my cat curled up in my lap, all the overwhelming feelings of loss and tragedy seemed to diminish. सभी negative thoughts मेरे दिमाग से चले गए. I felt gratitude for my life, my friends, my new friends, and the kindness of a stranger, and the loud purr of my beloved cat. और तभी and that time he felt gratitude. He felt thankful to his life. वो अपनी life को thank you बोल रहा था. He said thank you to his new friends. He said thank you to the kind stranger, that old lady, and the loud purr of my beloved cat. और वो low sound वो उसकी बिल्ली निकालती थी to show her love towards that narrator, the narrator. He thanked everything. My cat was back and so was I. मेरी बिल्ली भी वापस आ गई और मैं भी वापस आ गया. ये कहाँ से वापस आ गया? How the author came back? This suggests that when the author had lost his cat, he had also lost himself. वो खुद को भी गुमा चुका था. He had lost himself forever. वो अपना being, खुद को, अपनी अस्तित्व, his identity, he had lost everything. But when he found his cat, his cat was back with him, he also returned with his cat. वो भी उसने खुद को भी पा लिया. this small sentence has a big meaning, a huge meaning in it. Okay, so I hope you have understood this story. Okay, and you might have related yourself with the narrator. In this age, you people are attached to certain things so much that when those things are lost, you lost yourself, you lose yourself. आप खुद को भी घुमा देते हो, right? When you get that thing back, you are extremely happily and you think yourself the richest person in the world, right? The same way it had happened with the author. So please read the story, go through both the videos, go through the summary in the refresher, and please start learning the question answers for the PT2 exam. And now we have come to an end of our PT2 portion as well over here. Okay, now please leave your comment, your thumbs up in the comment section and learn the question answers. Please study seriously. Okay, bye.